Management at Helen Joseph Hospital say the facility is currently experiencing low water pressure, which is affecting parts of the hospital, including surrounding areas. In fact, it's the emergency department, the intensive care unit, and various other wards affected as well. So when there is low water pressure, this affects the delivery of water to higher floors of the hospital building, which then, of course, impacts on services. Now, we know this is not the first time this has happened. Last October, the hospital also experienced the same problem. For an update on the current situation, we're joined by the CEO at Helen Joseph Hospital, Dr Rodney Pheto, joins us via our video link this morning. Doc, it's great to see you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. And water challenges are not where it ends for Helen Joseph Hospital. The hospital just can't seem to catch a break.
Good morning, Michelle Craig, and also to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika 405. Yes, the problems have been there. It's actually almost a period of 2 years, but the first crisis was experienced last year, and then now we're again experiencing another crisis. The problem has not yet been completely solved, but I must mention that I'm actually the acting CEO, and it's actually my 5th day on duty as the acting CEO in the hospital. But this crisis has really affected the services in the hospital. Like we mentioned that from the ED, the ICU, and worst of all with the theaters. We have had some cases that are being delayed, and not only being delayed, but some of them have been postponed. And what also has been compromised is the infection prevention control mechanism, because, you know, if you don't have running water, it means that basic hand hygiene does not take place as it's supposed to be, because it's more guaranteed to be safe if it's through the running water, other than if you are using, for example, a basin that does not have running water. We're having a situation whereby toilets are not flushing, especially in the upper floors. It does not mean that we don't have water at all in the hospital. We do have water in the hospital. It's just that it's on the lower floors, that is on the ground and also on the first floor. So the majority of the wards are really impacted. And also what I saw, the teamwork by the staff here at Helen Joseph Hospital, was the nurses and some of the support staff going to the taps on the ground floor to pick up water, to take up the floors, up the stairs to the wards, whereby the patients and also the staff will be able to use the ablution facilities. Yeah.
So it's a baptism of fire for you, Dr. Petro. You say it's your 5th day on the job as acting CEO, at Helen Joseph Hospital, and as usual, doctors and staff are coming to the party to try and fix the problems that run so deep.
Yes. So it's really frustrating, with the staff members, like I said, not using ablution facilities. But at the moment, what I can tell you is that throughout the weekend, I was here on Saturday and also on Sunday. The artisans and technicians from both Johannesburg Water and also from the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure and Development have been on duty and trying by all means to try and come up with a diagnosis to know what is actually the cause of the problem. Because we know what is the problem. There is low water pressure, which is affecting supply to the hospital. But so far, we don't know what is the cause. There are other issues that we are suspecting that could be the cause. There could be probably leakage from the pipes that are supplying the hospital, but the pipes are underground. We are going to find out today. Or there could be a possibility of poor valve functioning, whereby the water cannot be propelled strongly enough in one direction. So that has really impacted negatively on the services.
I understand as well that Helen Joseph Hospital's management is now putting measures in place, and those measures are probably now up and running by this stage. But for priority 1, that's emergency and critical patients, and priority 2, those are urgent but stable patients, to move them to other facilities.
What we are doing, that is called diversion. We are doing that on a 4-hourly basis. We do request that the hospital be diverted. We actually not closed, but we do divert as per the need requires. Remember, this crisis is causing us to frequently divert, and that impacts negatively on the clinical care services of the facilities around us, especially the one that is being affected. It's the Charlotte Maxeke Johannesburg Academic Hospital. So yes, the services are affected, but they are functional, but we're not fully functional at 100%.
Dr. Pheto, I can't imagine that it's an ideal situation to divert a patient who is critical.
What happens is that it's only the patients that are being brought by ambulances that are diverted, but not the ones that come with private cars. So with the ambulances, they know that when they pick up a patient from either the accident scene or maybe from at home, they know that Helen Joseph is on divert, and then they will be taking the patient to Charlotte Macleke, to Southern Hospital. They do take patients to up to the West Rand, to hospitals such as the Ratong and Dr. Yusuf Darut District Hospital.
Yeah, what about the patients?
I know that it's...
Sorry, Dr. Petro.
It's not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Michelle.
What about the patients that are already receiving care at Helen Joseph Hospital? Have some of those critical patients had to be moved because of the water situation?
No, we haven't done that. That will actually put the other facilities at risk of spread of infection. We know that we've got patients that are injured and patients that are sick. And when you move a patient all around in different institutions, you might actually contribute to the spread of infection. And the way it concerns us as the management of Helen Joseph Hospital, this problem. We know that in the province, and actually it's now going national, it's the outbreak of cholera. And one of the most important things is hygiene and sanitation in the fight against cholera. So it's one of those things that are really worrying us. And today at about 9 o'clock, I'll be meeting the hospital exco so that we can map the way forward. I'm having an appointment at 8:30 with the manager from the Johannesburg Water, and also the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure Development will be on the ground so that we can try by all means to make sure that we resolve this problem as soon as possible. I can't guarantee when, but that's what we're doing, to say we resolve the problem as early as possible. Yeah,
that was my next question to you, Dr. Pheto. What are the timelines involved here, given that infection control and, there are so many things that can become a crisis situation as a result of this low water pressure?
Okay. On Thursday, it was my first day, that's when I became aware of the crisis. And then because water was still trickling into the tanks that we have, so we thought that by Friday afternoon it will be resolved. But we see that has gone through the weekend. So we are working on a minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour basis to say the crisis needs to be resolved as soon as possible. I can't give the timeline. We have been actually diagnosed the cause of the problem as much as we know what is the problem. So I hope that with the later media statement that will be released, we'll be able to be definite in giving you a specific answer. Thank you.
I'm glad you're calling it a crisis situation, because that is what it is, right? And what is your advice to patients, Dr. Pheto? Potential patients, people who are seeking treatment at Helen Joseph Hospital.
I will actually strongly advise that they go to other facilities if they can, but if that is not possible, they can still come to Helen Joseph. And the patients that have got appointments, let them honor those appointments, because our main concern are those that have a potential of being admitted. And those are the patients that we really cannot turn them away. Let them come and be seen at our emergency department or at our OPD departments. If we have to admit them, we have no choice. We are actually managing a crisis, but it does not mean that we have to shut down the services.
Dr. Rodney Pheto, let me thank you for your time this morning, the acting CEO at Helen Joseph Hospital. In fact, this is his 5th day in the hot seat there, and there is this crisis insofar as low water pressure is concerned. It's the latest in a long list of crises facing Helen Joseph Hospital. You heard the advice there from Dr. Pheto. If you do have an appointment, you're welcome to honor that appointment. If you can't make it to another hospital, please do go ahead and go to Helen Joseph Hospital. But if you can divert to a different facility, he has requested that you do so. Hopefully we'll get an update on the situation a little later on this morning.